يعني هذا يعني مقام يعني عال يعني felt like a simple person. We'll be lucky just to get there for the iqamah. He's in the masjid for 40 years, Fajr also, before the time of the adhan. So that's something that I can't sit there and describe that. And you feel that from a shaykh. You feel that from someone that you study with. You can feel that sense of that relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there or not. What are you going to do? And so he's going to go through that. So don't come and tell me. And even Sheikh Faqih told me, I started a class, 100 people come after a few weeks. Like katakit. And it happens to everybody. When we did the webinar a year ago, like, brothers, man, mashallah, 400 people registered. I told him 60 people would show up. He said, why? I said, just trust me, 60 people. He's like, no way, 400 to 60? I said, because istafahumullah. Those that Allah has chosen are always a few. Yeah. I remember in Oklahoma, my friend DJ Joker, man, his name is Mujahid now. I love him so much. He used to ride his bike to the masjid to study with the sheikh like 2 hours, man. People used to like laugh at him. Hada miskin, yarkab ad-darago. But man, Allah blessed him. And I said, you know how Allah chooses certain people to do things? Lillahi khasatuhu. And he wouldn't even complain. And he used to ride to Dhuhr and Isha in the day on his bike to pray in the masjid, man. To catch jama'ah. And to catch the jama'ah. يعني Asma asking me something that cannot necessarily be quantified. That's a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sure, Sheikh.
What Sister Asma was talking about, I think the issue of commitment is very, very important. I think that's what, right? Instead of understanding commitment, conviction. Maybe you don't know, but you're not going to second guess the Prophet ﷺ on the Sharia or have doubts and something. You know that Allah and His Messenger have your best interest, in mind. You know that the Sharia, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all wise. You don't understand the wisdom at that time, right? But you're committed to what you have already believed in. And anytime you have doubts or you go through some kind of doubt, you're going to go. The Sahaba went to the Prophet ﷺ. You see the difference between the Sahaba? They were not all ulama, but they were committed. And if they experienced any kind of challenge, they would go to the Prophet ﷺ because they were committed. That's the difference between the Sahaba and the Munafiqun at that time, who allowed doubts and misconceptions and other people basically to control how they feel about the work. And then they just drop out. Or they isolate themselves. And that's what Shaitan does. Isolate you from the Jama'ah, from the Masjid, from the Imam, from the crowd, and then pray on you. That's it. Finish it. Go for the kill. So, but committed people, no matter what, maybe you don't like the person, maybe you don't like his style, maybe you don't like his level of understanding or not, but you're still committed. And that's what we're missing, the commitment. Taking this as a sacred commitment. No matter, maybe I don't understand. There were many times where I had issues that I didn't understand, but I knew that there is an answer there, so I had to go ask the Sheikh, maybe his answer was not convincing, ask another one, and then finally I go to Sheikh Da'wah, Sheikh Idris, and with a couple of words, that's it. Everything falls, in place, right? But you have to be basically committed. The Sahaba went to the Prophet, right? They went to the Prophet and they thought, or the Sahabi that came and had some doubts, who created Allah, and, the Prophet, so they were committed. That's it. We have to be committed.
Brother,
and let me just say, look, I'm not a scholar. I'm still young. So Islam is a process of being. So things I'm saying now, I might change my mind 2 years from now. Okay? So don't take it like, oh, this is what Suhaib Webb said. Oh, right down and go. No, Suhaib Webb, he's still developing as a person. Yeah. So I'm just giving you what I've learned recently over the last 10 years or 17 years of studying. But it doesn't mean that it's all in all. The best thing is always to refer to your local imams who, if you have a good relationship with them and they're open-minded like these brothers here, man. To get the feeling from them is very important also. Yeah, you're building those institutions is to serve the maqasid al-kubra, to serve those major maqasid of Islam. Protection of faith, protection of intellect, protection of the family, protection of money, protections of your honor, to protect the community. And I hope that Allah will accept all of that. Yeah, and to be able to spread this message amongst the non-Muslims. The institutions, look at the Ummah Clinic, man. Look at the profound impact that the Ummah Clinic has had with people. Up north, our young professional brothers and sisters go like once a month and just give sandwiches to the poor people. It's affected them. But to serve our community, to protect our community also, to make sure that Islam stays within our community. The last 2 years, I have never seen as many cases of people leaving Islam as I have seen in all 17 years of me being Muslim, especially amongst young Muslims. Really, just a profound number of people leaving Islam. So what are the institutions that, in some cases, it's due to issues which are beyond someone like myself's ability? It's an institutional problem. It's not an imam or masjid problem. So just as the masjid serves as a place for us to preserve our faith and our acts of worship, what about getting married, man? What are the institutions for people actually to get married? Taysir al-Ziwaj, where we can send someone to talk to their mothers and fathers, where we can have people walk with people after they get married through the first year or two to ensure that they don't go crazy and someone gets hit with a blender or something. What, you know, where is that? Yeah, and that's why we say, you know, siddu dhara'iya, to prevent harm, man, to have these institutions before things happen, not after things happen. And Ezra, actually, we have mixed gatherings with men and women in the sense that the sisters will be sitting there and the brothers will be here. Even when Dr. Ali Juma used to teach, I used to sit with my wife like in the box seats. And there was like a place for families. It was amazing to sit with your wife and study a lesson. Something very pretty kind of cool. Because then on the way home, you could talk about that instead of, you know, somebody's neighbor or somebody did this, right? You can actually talk about the dars, which was interesting. So I would definitely say that the Egyptian experience is maybe very different than other places. Where you don't, huh? Some box seats, yeah. He put Sheikh Ali put his families in the middle, man. And there was like space, and you could even like have a little square. We had, at that time, my son was an infant, and he would like crawl around. Can you imagine your son in Masjid Azhar listen to a great scholar give a lesson as a child, man? He's going to come away. I remember when I was like 4, you know, I used to crawl in Masjid Azhar while Sheikh Ali was giving the Sharh of the Sitta. Yeah, that's something that, instead of saying, get out of the masjid, have that experience. So I never really felt, to be honest with you, that I was like trying to hit on girls in Masjid Azhar during the lessons. And I felt also, when I became Muslim and I started to interact with certain Muslim groups, that they kind of perverted my ability to even deal with women. Whereas prior to becoming a Muslim, I could talk to a woman and not even think about the S word or she looks good or whatever. But then after being around certain kind of Muslim discourses, with all respect, it was like I had this kind of medieval way of looking at women, like the chastity belt type thing, you know. And then I started to ask myself, what on earth has happened to me, man? But not to move also to the other extreme. So those are clearly mentioned in the books of adab. And number one, is it allowable to look at the face or a man or a woman when you're studying? Yes. Hada haja. It's a haja, jaiz. Unless you feel something wrong, you should look down. Yeah, because understanding. This is mentioned by the scholars of ilm. Number two, are you allowed to ask questions? Yes. Okay. Number three, if she has on hijab and jilbab, can she stand in front of men? According to the majority, yes. Because you're not looking at her awrah. You're not allowed to look at her awrah. This is not her awrah according to the jumhur of ulama. And number four, that the person that's teaching you should really be teaching you. They should really be a qualified person. You're not there just to flirt. So those are some of the adab. There shouldn't be no, I feel kind of sorry, brother. I feel it's kind of stupid me saying these things, man. It should be understood, man. We're not like hitting on each other and flirting. Yo, what's up, girl? You know this hadith 14 in Bukhari, right? So could you break that down for me? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, see, where I come from, we never had this kind of problem, man, where you're not flirting and you know that you don't flirt. Like, understood.
Yeah, that's not even the issue, because sometimes they just throw these teaching women stuff without satisfying.
Yeah, I mean, if that exists, then yeah. I haven't been here for 8 years, so.
The two extremes exist and we know it. I mean, the two extremes exist and we know it.
And there's a good book called Tariq Ta'alim, Tariq Muta'allim. It's a very nice book of Imam Zarnuji. Talks about the adab of the student of knowledge. He has a chapter in there about this, man. How you should interact with each other.
Jazakumullah khairan, brothers. Barakallahu feekum.